You remember that look? The one that says, please don't ask. If I say I'm fine and you don't follow up, we can both pretend everything's great. Your kid just gave you that same look. Bullying rarely starts with a black eye. It starts with a vague stomach ache and the world's saddest, I don't feel like going. The goal isn't to storm the school like Liam Neeson and accidentally become the kid's second bully. It's to respond in a way that actually protects your kid. And it starts with one sentence parents say with love, almost automatically, that quietly makes everything worse. Kids hear it as, you're on your own. Number 1, bullying doesn't look like bullying anymore. Bullying today doesn't look like it did when we were kids. Back then, bullies shoved you in the hallway. Now, they shove you on 5 platforms, 3 group chats, and 1 private story you're definitely not allowed to see. It's quieter, smarter, digital, nonstop, and somehow marketed as just a joke. Translation, I'm being emotionally blackmailed by a 12-year-old with a ring light and too much confidence. Here's a problem. Your kid might not even know they're being bullied. Kids don't speak psychology, they speak survival. So they don't say, I'm being socially ostracized. They say, no one sat with me today. It's whatever. They don't say, I'm being manipulated. They say, it was just a joke, I think. They don't say, I'm being bullied. They say, I don't want to go. That's the first trap parents fall into. We wait for kids to label bullying. But bullying hides behind better PR now. It's harassment with a laugh track. Everyone laughs except your kid. It wears costumes like teasing, banter, group jokes, and group chats called the fun squad that somehow never include your kid. And when kids do feel unsafe, they don't announce it. They drip feed it like a broken faucet. Look for the pattern. Avoidance plus missing stuff plus mood shifts. Sudden stomach aches before school. A backpack that's lost again. Crying at night over things that used to roll off. Grades slipping. Friends disappearing, deleting social media, or checking it like it owes them money, begging to stay home, melting down over tiny things, or suddenly going very, very quiet. Parents see this and think, attitude, drama, hormones, phase. But here's the reframe that matters. Bullying shows up as avoidance before it shows up as evidence. And withdrawal isn't mood, it's fear. Which means your real job as a parent isn't to wait for proof. It's to recognize the sign your kid doesn't know how to name it. And the next sentence decides if you get the truth or the I'm fine reboot. Number 2, the single worst sentence a parent can say. Whatever you do, do not say this. Here it is. The door slam sentence. Just ignore them. It didn't work in 1986, it didn't work in 2006, and it's getting its teeth kicked in by 2026. Ignoring bullying is the emotional equivalent of throwing broccoli at a bear and hoping it reflects on its behavior. The bear eats you and the broccoli because kids can't ignore people they sit next to, walk behind, get tagged by, get excluded by, get screenshotted by, or get roasted in group chats that live forever. Just ignore it doesn't stop it. It makes kids stop telling you. Here's what lands in their chest. This isn't serious. This is a you problem. Figure it out alone. And that's the moment something dangerous happens. Your kid learns pain gets minimized here. So next time, they don't bring the big stuff, they bring silence. What they need instead isn't a solution, it's a signal. The sentence that actually helps is simple. Tell me everything. You're not alone in this. That line doesn't escalate. It doesn't panic them. It doesn't take control away. It tells their nervous system, I'm safe here. And when kids feel safe, they tell you the parts that actually matter. If you're thinking, but my kid trusts me, here's the uncomfortable truth. Truth isn't the blocker. Fear is. Fear that telling you turns into a public event. Number 3, why kids don't tell you, even when they trust you. Here's the part that messes with parents. Your kid can trust you and still not tell you, not because you're unsafe, but because they're scared of what happens next. Kids don't stay silent for one reason. They stay silent for 10, and they stack. It's a fear cocktail, and it has 10 ingredients, and nobody ordered it. They don't want you to panic. They don't want you to make it worse. They're embarrassed. They think it's their fault. They don't want to look weak. They hope it'll stop on its own. They don't want you calling someone's mom. They don't want to switch schools. They don't want pity. They don't want to become the kid with the situation. Every bullied kid is terrified of the parent who says, "I'll handle this." Because in their head, that sentence means you showing up at school unannounced, emailing 6 teachers, CCing the principal, talking loudly in the hallway, accidentally becoming the main character in the worst story of their life. So they stay quiet. They're not protecting the bully. They're protecting themselves from you storming into the school like a caffeinated crusader in Crocs. That's the painful truth. Silence isn't betrayal. It's self-preservation. And the good news, this isn't permanent. It's fixable. But fixing it doesn't start with action. It starts with how you talk when they finally open their mouth. And the first conversation is the hinge. It either opens the door or locks it. The next 5 minutes decide the next 5 months. Number 4, the conversation that makes it better or worse. When your kid finally talks, everything hangs on the next 5 minutes. Say the wrong thing, and they shut down for weeks. Say the right thing, and you become their safest place again. Here's the script that actually works. Step 1, stay calm, even if you're not. Inside, you're ready to go medieval. Outside, you need to look like a Google Calendar. Color-coded, calm, predictable, neutral, unshakable. Because the moment your kid sees panic on your face, their brain hears, "Uh-oh, I've caused a problem." Step 2, validate before you fix. Not advice, not strategy, validation. Say, "That must have felt awful. I'm really glad you told me. You didn't deserve that." These sentences don't solve the problem. They unlock the rest of the story. Because there's always one detail kids leave out first, and it's usually the one that changes everything. Step 3, no solutions yet. This is where parents accidentally hit reply all on their kids' feelings. The second you jump into fixin', kids stop talking because fixin' too fast feels like getting hijacked. Instead, ask, "What happened next? How did that make you feel? What are you hoping changes?" Let them empty the backpack before you reorganize it. Step 4, give control back. Bullying steals power. Your job is to return it slowly. Say, "We'll decide what to do together." That one sentence tells their nervous system, "I'm not alone. I'm not trapped. I still have a say." And once your kid feels that, they don't just talk more. They start trusting the next step, which matters because the next step isn't be tougher. It's a tool that shuts the whole game down. Number 5, the advice that backfires every time. This is where most well-meaning parents accidentally make the bullying last longer. We already covered ignore 'em. The other mistake is worse. Fight back. Both sound tough. Both feel satisfying. Both quietly make bullying worse. Here's why. First, kids think bullying only counts if someone gets hit. So when you tell them to ignore it, they assume this must not be real bullying. Bullying has categories now, like streaming services. Nobody asked for this. It comes in 3 forms, and only one involves fists. 1, verbal bullying, insults, rumors, name-calling, threats. This one hits identity. 2, social bullying, exclusion, silent treatment, group chat pile-ons, jokes that humiliate someone publicly. This one hits self-worth. 3, physical bullying, hitting, pushing, stealing, damaging belongings. This one hits safety. If kids don't know all 3, they rationalize the first 2 as friend drama, not that serious, my fault. Now, let's talk about fighting back. No, this is not Cobra Kai. This is middle school with consequences. One punch and your kid becomes the incident in the newsletter. Teaching kids to punch their way out of bullying leads to suspensions, escalation, revenge cycles, legal drama, trauma, and a kid who learns violence equals solution. Neither ignoring nor fighting fixes it, because bullying isn't about strength. It's about power. It's not boxing, it's domination. Kids don't need to be tougher. They need tools. And the most powerful tool isn't a fist. It's knowing exactly what to say and when to walk away. Next is the skill that stops bullying without starting a war. Number 6, the skill that protects kids more than confidence. The most important anti-bullying skill isn't confidence. It isn't self-defense. It isn't being popular. It's boundary language, because most bullied kids don't fight back. They freeze. Not because they're weak, but because their brain goes offline and they don't know what to say. So they say nothing, or they laugh it off, or they apologize for something they didn't do. That silence feels like permission. Teach them short, boring, unreactive lines. Verbal seatbelts. Tiny rule. Say it boring. Boring wins. Don't talk to me like that. That wasn't a joke. Stop. Not okay. I don't accept that. I'm leaving now. This isn't being rude. It's being clear. No insults, no speeches, no emotional essays. Just calm, flat, finished. Bullies thrive on reactions. They hate boundaries because boundaries end the game. Now here's the part parents miss. Boundary language is step 1. Adult intervention is step 2. Not failure. Here's the rule. If the bullying is consistent, calculated, or humiliating, you step in. Not loudly, not emotionally, not as the main character. You document dates, messages, screenshots, patterns. And when you speak to the school, you don't say, "My child is upset." You say, "I'm documenting a pattern of targeted behavior. What's the plan to ensure my child's safety?" Professional, firm, unshakable. Nothing scares a school like a paper trail. Schools respond to documentation, not outrage, because this isn't about punishing a bully. It's about protecting a kid who deserves to feel safe in a building they spend 7 hours a day in. And once safety is restored, there's one more thing your child needs. Not protection, not justice, repair. That's next, because even when it stops, your kid's brain keeps replaying it. Number 7, what bullying actually does to a kid and how parents undo it. Bullying doesn't just hurt feelings, it rewires a kid's inner world, because their brain starts treating school like a threat, not a place. It creates hypervigilance, anxiety, low self-esteem, perfectionism, trust issues, isolation, obsessive overthinking, avoidance of places that once felt safe. Not because your kid's fragile, but because their brain learned one rule fast. Stay alert. Something bad could happen. And here's the part almost every bullied kid gets wrong. They think it means something's wrong with me. Enduring humiliation, exclusion, rumors, or cruelty takes an insane amount of strength. They're not weak, they're exhausted. So, there are 3 sentences your kid needs to hear on repeat until their nervous system believes them. This wasn't your fault. This won't define you. You're stronger than the opinion of someone who doesn't even know themselves yet. Repeat it until it becomes their default setting. Say it in the car. That's where kids finally talk. Now comes the rebuild. Not confident speeches, not toughen up energy. Repair. Start small. Micro wins that restore competence. Sports, art, music, robotics, anything where effort leads to progress. One safe friend. One real one beats 50 fake ones. Other adults who validate. Coaches, teachers, mentors, extra anchors beyond you. Then, the most important piece. Narrative correction. When your kid says, "Everyone hates me," you say, "One person treating you badly doesn't define everyone." Slowly reintroduce the world. Not pushing, not forcing, guiding. Healing isn't a straight line. It's a messy scribble with progress hiding inside it. And finally, the lesson that carries them into adulthood. Bullying is not about the target, it's about the bully. Kids bully when they're insecure, trying to impress, grasping for control, terrified of being at the bottom, repeating what they see at home, hating something in themselves they don't know how to name yet. Cruelty is misplaced pain. Bullies are basically insecurity wearing confidence as a costume. Your kid is not unlikable, not flawed, not too sensitive. They were just unlucky enough to cross paths with someone who hasn't learned kindness yet. And here's the truth they'll remember long after the name fades. Not what was said to them, but how you reacted, how you believed them, how you protected them without taking over, how you made home the safest place in the world. Bullying tries to break kids. Your response teaches them how to rebuild. And that's a skill they'll use long after school's over.